South Carolina. Water's really high this time of year. It's early spring, well, beginning of spring, so I guess that'd be early spring. But yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but the water is kind of moving out. So to our right is, if you take it all the way, if you had a few days, you can actually get to the Atlantic Ocean. We're gonna go up. We're gonna go upriver. Water's moving. So the water's really moving fast. I don't know if you can see it coming off of that branch there, but it's pretty swift. And all the water from inland. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go up into the swamp a little, where I can just do a nice, good, gradual paddle. As you can, so this is normally a like a little creek that flows out into the river, and it's usually only like a few feet deep. This spot over here, I ride four-wheelers over here, and the spot over to our right, or sorry, our left, is all dry land. I mean, it just shows you how much water is pushed back into the swamps in here, and you can go way back up into the creeks in here. So I don't know, we'll just kind of poke around and ease into the swamp a little bit. It's not a lot of current in here, so I can just kind of take my time and navigate around some of these trees and whatnot. Normally, like I said, normally my videos on my channel are all in my Jeep, and this is like my hometown. So I live right outside of Atlanta currently, where I've been there since 2011. But this is all part of my wife's family's property here in South Carolina, where I grew up not far from here, like 7 miles from here. There's some mistletoe in that tree in front of us there. But I would come back here, I'd ride dirt bikes, four-wheelers. It's a pretty nice piece of property they have. In the summertime, when the river is a good level, I mean, there's some sandbars down the river that we go into. You go swimming. It's a fairly shallow river in the summertime, and there's a section further down river that gets really shallow, and usually it dries out for a few miles, and it's all sandy bottom, and you've been down there and rode four-wheelers through there, and kind of cool. I haven't kayaked up in the swamp in a long time, so I think it's been before all the really bad flood that South Carolina had back in I think it was 2015 or 16. They had a really bad flood. I mean, right now there would be like 20 foot of water above where we're at right now. Fallen tree, another fallen tree. There are alligators out here. Alligators, water moccasins, regular brown water snake as well. Got coyotes, deer. I've seen it all back here. But usually with all those creatures, you don't mess with them, they don't mess with you. So it's usually in the summertime, and I'm sure snakes are out now, but usually when you're paddling and you're out in the river like this, you always want to check and see what's on logs, on the side of trees, and tree limbs, because usually whenever a snake, a water snake, wants to get out of the water, they're gonna climb up the edge of that tree, and they're quite they can latch onto the side of the tree with their, kind of weave into the bark and hold on to it. So, snakes drop in the fishermen's boats all the time, going up in the branches and whatnot. So, never have really had an encounter with one in a kayak, and I don't want to. So, I've seen them on branches and stuff, but I never had one fall in the kayak with me, because I'd be swimming. So, but right now I'm going to just stop talking and just paddle around, and I'll only speak up if I see something of importance or something that, I just kind of want to point out. So just enjoy the nice, peaceful, scenic paddle. And who knows, it may not be so peaceful depending on where I go. But I'll shut up now. Right there in front of us. I'm sure some of the bigger and even smaller fish kind of retreat back up into the swamps, to get away from the current, and the bigger fish come back here and feed. Downfall. Turkey feathers. You can see there's a fallen tree right there. So that tree is at the edge of the creek that kind of zigzags around in here. So right now we're probably at about 15 foot of water. It's only a few feet. It's only like about 5 feet wide, but I do know that fallen down tree is right on the bank of the creek. It's kind of crazy that the bottom of the creek is actually sandy, like white sand, and there was a back during, I don't know, I'm not a like a scientist type person, but I do know that I find prehistoric shark's teeth from back whenever the oceans were covering this part of South Carolina. I have bags and bags full of shark's teeth, some other small little bone, little fragments and whatnot. So it's just kind of interesting on what you find out in the swamp. Like some of these big, huge cypress trees. That's a really big cypress tree. So back in like the early 1900s, up here there was a mill dam, a sawmill, where they would they would cut trees down. It was just had a water mill on it, and that's it was on this site right up right kind of not far from where we are right now. But I have some timbers that was part of that original structure at home and also on the property here. It's pretty neat. I mean, they still use the little wooden dowel pins and whatnot to hold it all together. There's no nails on it in it. But we'll be at this where the mill was actually at here in a second. Like this spot right here, this is a bigger flow part of the creek. I know it's pretty deep here because I know whenever I'm on the banks, it's about a 5-foot drop straight down to where the creek is. I see some turtles. Oh, they just hit the water. Yep, so right here, this is where you see the mound of dirt over to the side there, and joined it back up on this side. So this is where the original mill was. That was back here. And they harvested a bunch of all these old cypress trees and oaks that were out here in the swamp, and they sawed them down into timber and everything. I don't know when the mill got shut down, but right now this is about where it was at. I found a bunch of old timbers from where it got torn down, up under in the mud and stuff. But yeah, so normally you can't paddle all this far back in here. It's too shallow. It's a lot of trees blocking your way. But right now, I don't know, there's a shallow tree right here in front of us. We can scoot it. Should probably hit it with a little more speed. Oh, hung up on it. Let's see how much power I can get across. Slide across this thing. Oh, almost. Well, hung up on it right now. We'll just sit here for a second. All right. There we go. We're almost off. Look at there. We're free. Alright. Let's hope we don't run in anymore really low ones like that. And we got some I think it's a goldenrod through here. And I can see the bottom. I mean, we're probably only in about knee-deep water. But it's pretty in here. I mean, you got some young cypress trees through here. I know this is some spots where I would ride the four-wheeler, play in the mud, right along the edge of the creek down here. So I know there's a bunch of cypress knees and stuff up under us. Oh man, these little twigs are crazy. Alright, let's get to the open area. I ain't got to duck trees. Yeah, so I can see the bottom. I got still my wife's family's property off to our left. I mean, it goes all the way to the highway, so about a mile straight ahead. There's some fish rolling in front of us. But There's usually a beaver dam up a little ways in front of us here. A lot of deer hunting out here. I know that there's some tree stands off to our right up on the hill there. But I mean, I like it back here. It's very peaceful. Usually, you know, whenever the water's not this high and I have the four-wheeler here, I come back here and I can ride back here for hours. Cut back over this way. Stuck on a cypress knee here. Oh, he's got me good. There he goes. That's another goldenrod. Yeah, usually the beaver dam is like right around up in here, kind of between this little spot in here, but not really sure. And I'm sure it might be under here, or I don't know if, you know, they've eliminated it. I don't know if you can hear the jets above us, but there's you know, jets from the Beaufort Marine Corps Air Station and the Sumter Air Force Base use this area for training. They go ahead, they go above us, and they do just dogfighting, and they'll do air to ground, kind of little strafing runs. I've had some F-16s buzz the river while I was kayaking before. They dropped down like really low, kind of went through and banked at us. It was pretty cool. And back whenever Myrtle Beach Air Force Base was still open, the A-10s would come through here and they would do air to ground there as well. And so that was always pretty cool, watching the A-10s kind of go. And you know, me, you know, my background, and that's part of the reason why whenever I was in the Marine Corps, I chose aviation as my MOS. I was deployed with F-18s, AV-8Bs, which are your Harriers for the AV-8Bs, and then F-16s, or sorry, F-18s are your Hornets. We're over the creek now again. It's like ankle deep water off to the side. The further inland we get, the smaller the creek gets, actually. So right now I'm kind of to the point where I have to follow the edge of the bank of the creek. And you see the cypress knees in front of us. I tell you, you get a four-wheeler stuck on top of those, or a side-by-side, man, you're into some, even with a winch, because those things they get pinned between A-arms and into the frame rails. Man, you are stuck. So you gotta be careful. But man, they're just cypress knees. They're basically the root system of some of these cypress trees that you see around us. Log under the water. This is also a site where there used to be beaver dam. I know. I remember coming in here and trying to pull it up because it was making the water back up too far. There's cow pastures off to the side of us over here, like up the hill. Alright, so we're gonna try and follow the natural flow of the creek here. places in South Carolina to go kayaking. You know, there's actually a swamp kayak tour, not really a tour, but a path that you can go. It's up, it's off of Lake Moultrie, and you can follow it. You know, it's definitely, yeah, we're not going that way. I don't know if you can see that tree up there, but there's no way around that thing. Let's go see how far we can go inland before we just run out of water. Yeah, definitely, you know, you get out and you can go paddle for hours, and you don't have to come through this stuff. And right now, that's the bottom right there. I'm only in like about 8 inches of water. Yeah, so there's a clear body here. Looks like I only got about 7% battery life. Wasn't really sure how much GoPro I was gonna do out here, so foolishly I left my extra batteries at the truck. But, you saw your way in. You saw the way in here. As you can see here, it really looks like we're running out of water. There's nothing but goldenrod all around us now. Or at least I think that's what that is. I'm not sure. It's not goldenrod. I don't know what these plants are, but there's a bunch of yellow flowers around it. I don't know how much further I'm going to be able to go. There's cypress knee. Flowers are now over my head. And, I'm going to say this spot right here is a good spot to turn around, because I'm basically paddling in about 6-inch deep water right now. The bottom's dragging occasionally. So we have made it as far as we can go, and I'm not stepping out of this kayak and walking around out here. Alright. Well, hope y'all enjoyed the paddle with me. I don't know. Summer's here. Or not here, but springtime is here, and you know, the more I get back up to South Carolina, you know, I might have a mixture of Jeep videos and kayaking videos, and a little bit more mix in my YouTube channel. So, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed the nice scenic paddle into the swamp, and listen to me ramble and talk about, you know, trying to act like I know what I'm talking about anyway. You know, because I don't know what these yellow flowers are. They're just growing straight out of the water. So, all right, I'm at like 2% battery now. So y'all have a good time, and you know, spring is here, and we'll see. Hopefully, we'll get some Jeep videos coming your way soon. Missed out on going to Easter Jeep Safari there in Moab. Definitely see a Moab trip coming up in my future in 24. I don't know if I'll be able to do it for the rest of the till next year, but definitely I'm getting back to Moab. So anyway, all right, y'all have fun. I'll talk to you later.